I feel like this whole situation is going to make sure I really learn editing. So, part two, I suppose, of Handmaid's Tale, episode one. Anyway, so at this point, like I said, we're back in Canada. Off Joseph and the baby are safe. They're at the embassy, the Canadian embassy, and the lady's just saying, "Hey, I want to make sure you guys are both healthy. Can I take the baby off?" Emily is like, "Oh no, no. Been through too much. The baby's staying with me right now." Which, by the way, I can completely understand. Which, of course, they're Canadian. They were super nice. They were just like, "I get it." So, and then next thing you know, like, you just see the whole intake room like erupt into applause. And I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of an emotional scene for me because it was just like, oh God, finally someone fucking made it, so anyway, so let's go back to the fire, right? So outside the fire, you have June kind of sitting on the curb, just looking homeless, and she sees Nick, and he tells her to take care in a way that seemed a little too final. Just saying. And definitely didn't like that. And then she gets in the back of this kind of hearse looking shit draped in red, which is super ominous. The doors close. And all I can think to myself is like, this is really amazing. The fact that June is still alive. Just want to go ahead and put that out there. So, obviously they're taking June to go be punished. This is what we've been waiting for, which is why I was thinking, Lord, she's not long for this world. So anyway, so June's in a place where, I can only think is just like a torture chamber. And this chick is like, oh, the Mackenzies may forgive you, but God wants his penance. Okay. So now June is scrubbing floors with like bloody ass feet, and this other imprisoned chick comes over to her while she's like scrubbing the floors and her feet are bleeding and everything, and she says, "Hey, the baby is safe," and then she just walks off again. And bro, the look on June's face while she was scrubbing, she was like, "You could add on a couple more lashes. I'll do it again," because it was like, I won. I won. I may not live through this, but I did what I set out here to do, was to make sure that my child did not get raised in this motherfucking crazy ass town of Gilead. So, now they decide, after all the punishment, God knows how long that lasted. So then they find out that June is, being taken to a new posting. So June goes to the new posting, like she's not responsible for the baby's kidnapping. Because I just thought that this was going to be automatic death. I thought this was just like death. But for the sake of the show, June is still alive. But from what we've seen in regular situations, the bitch would be dead. But guess who she's a handmaid to? The same man who let off Joseph go, Commander Lawrence. She looking at Commander Lawrence, Mr. I like you, you got spunk. Okay? And then he's like, "Oh, are you going to be any trouble?" And she's like, "Never. Of course not." And we're like, "Bitch, please." I just want to go ahead and say that this episode, the first episode, was really bomb. Again, I feel like this is a really important show to watch, especially nowadays, seeing how it's becoming more commonplace to have women's rights kind of just devalued or just not seen as important. And I feel like this is kind of an example of, if you don't realize your history, you're doomed to repeat it. And this is basically like this end of the world dystopia that's basically showing us, an example of what could possibly happen, which sadly we're not as far from as you would like to think, or at least that I like to think. But anyway, so that was the first episode. I would love for anybody to, like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Or tell me anything that I missed, or tell me anything that you really thought was very interesting that you wanted to point out in the episode, or especially any correlations between the show and today, which I feel like are just so numerous at this point. But anyway, this was Sid the Kid with The Handmaid's Tale, Season 3, Episode 1 review, and I will see you again for Episode 2.